Welcome to the spoiler section of Spirit of Justice. I'm going to first talk about the first two cases, and that's it, because I'm currently on the third case as a production of this video, and all I can say is, I'm dealing with a priestess who looks adorable when she does this. Dealing with Steve-O from Jackass. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the first case, where I'm dealing with Rockstar Jesus as the primary suspect. We all saw from the first beginning of the episode that he obviously is the guilty party, and I have to find out how to get him to admit it. And good God, I have never seen a villain who tries so defiantly to keep himself from being caught in a first case than this one. I mean, I remember Frank saw it, he caved easily under pressure. And then there's this one, he has help from the whole gallery, the prosecution, the judge. Again, maybe not so much, since the judge is a little more impartial, which is a good thing, so it's a wild ride. My first impression when I saw that, I was like, yes. When he whipped out the guitar and plugged it in, I was overjoyed. I can now see something very extravagant happening in the courtroom. I mean, not that there hasn't before in the past, but let's continue it, please. But at the same time, while I was seeing him rock out on the witness stand, I couldn't help but imagine this. I'm getting drunk tonight, calling out Ranch Hand and Mountain Man. Anyway, back to the review. Like in past cases, the defense and the prosecution are completely unaware of crucial evidence until it's finally revealed, like what is labeled as the murder weapon from the start of the first trial and is revealed to later on not even be the case at all. Phoenix is flailing all the evidence in front of him, trying to see which one can lead to a truth, and sometimes he hits dead ends, and it's to be expected. I know, I like how that happens, because if I felt like I kept having a linear path to the truth, I would see, now that was too easy. There's got to be some obstacles to create a bumpy ride, because yeah, driving in one direction, yeah, is smooth, but it can get boring after a while. So I'm glad for those bumps, giving us the rocky road we need. And now I want ice cream. So we have Kenny Loggins here, putting up a good fight against Phoenix Wright. And he does show signs of breaking earlier on, but somehow the prosecution, which even though he's one of the Payne brothers, Winston and Gaspin, he is not as wimpy and as weak-minded as his older brother. I think this is the younger one. I could be wrong, but no, I think I got it right. Anyway, he actually puts up more of a fight than you, and sure he, sweats as much as his brother, but he is more confident, even though he is a visitor, just like Phoenix Wright, into this foreign nation. But he's treated with much better respect, being a prosecutor than a defense attorney. So it was actually kind of refreshing to see something outside the norm of expectations for a first trial of an Ace Attorney game. Bravo, I give Capcom all the credit for that. We are first led to believe that the victim wasn't so innocent, and he went and took their treasure, and that was his thievery, which is what got Phoenix Wright's client, the tour guide, to have his hands up because he was pointing a gun at him, being like, "Oh, you caught me, you bitch." And so I was left wondering, where is this gonna go? This has to be something that's completely made up. This can't be the real deal. And as we found out later on, fortunately it was. Now I have to say, this anime scene where the priestess is dancing the highway to the danger zone as Phoenix Wright's defendant is arrested is a thing of beauty. I love to see more of those in future Ace Attorney installments, and it looks like that is going to be the case, because I remember during the first trilogy we only saw like cutscenes and stuff. But then again, it was a Game Boy Advance game. I may be wrong, it's been a while since I played it, but I think Dual Destinies was the first Ace Attorney game to feature anime cutscenes. Apollo Justice looks like it could have had some, but they didn't, maybe because of space on the card. So yeah, it's good that this is now going to be a new norm. Bring it on, Capcom. So as she's going about flailing her arms, at the time, for anyone who hasn't played the demo, we just don't know what she's doing. Now, getting to the end, who doesn't like when the musical Messiah rocks out his testimony and even gets contagious with the prosecutor, I think the judge did as well, and Phoenix, of course. And he came up with good lines too as well. But of course, it all comes crashing down when it is unexpected for the longest time, considering how much he's been defiant for a first case villain. But eventually he does flub up. He mistakes the name of the key he always had on this person, and that creates the opening that Phoenix needs to find the actual answer. We find out the real weapon is Lucille, which throws everyone for a fucking loop, and he is declared guilty on the spot. Sweet justice. Now, moving on to the second case. Apollo is, of course, defending Trucy. I don't know if she's ever been a defendant before, has she? If not, well, then this was overdue. I mean, not to sound like a dick, but it's just gonna happen. It really has. I mean, how many times has Maya been defendant? Which, by the way, she is again in the third case. No surprise. Maya and the label defendant are about as common as salt and ramen. But anyway, as we saw from the trailers, and in the game, of course, we see that Trucy now has an assistant named Bonnie. She's dressed up as this little bunny girl assistant and looks pretty good for my taste. I don't know if anyone else has to, but that's Capcom. They always like to really make their female characters look extravagant. It does appear like there could be no one else. I mean, the first people we suspect, of course, is the assistant, and there is no one else there. They can't obviously either be Trucy or her assistant, and those are the only cards we're dealt with. I feel like we're playing Texas Hold'em, and those are the two cards I'm dealt with, and I'm getting shit on the board. But thankfully, the flop, the turn in the river, all revealed to be evidence that we need to find our actual suspect that didn't even have to be there in the first place to commit the murder. So we found out this guy Uwe Boll tried to frame Trucy and take everything in the agency that she has. Everything they do to try and completely ruin them. All because of some vendetta he had back when he was younger, 15 years ago, in story game time, when he was kicked out of her family's magic act for not being good enough and having an accident. And they felt it would ruin their group's reputation. Granted, it's understandable, but I don't know if I would have done it if I were Trucy's grandpa. But what happened, and it did set up a good, villain for this second case. Granted, we've never even heard of him in Apollo Justice. I don't remember hearing him about it. He's completely brand new. It's like the character was just completely written in for this case in this newest game, Spirit of Justice. I guess, there must have been a reason why they didn't bring him up in Apollo Justice. Either the character wasn't created yet, or they wanted to save him for Spirit of Justice. We find out as the cards start to come out, we see that Bonnie has a twin sister. She could not have known that Trucy was understage doing what she was doing, because everyone that was known beforehand was up on stage, except for Trucy, who was under the stage, still trying to perform the act of the mistake that her assistant made. And it's revealed that having a twin sister just reminds me of the movie Prestige. You have to have a lookalike or a twin in order to pull off a teleportation magic trick. And it's pretty good. If anyone hasn't seen the Prestige, I highly recommend it. It's been out for a few years, so it shouldn't be too hard to find or too expensive. It reveals that Bonnie has an evil twin, Betty, and we're given that impression heavily that she's evil, considering she wants to ruin Trucy and give her a guilty verdict, and she's in cahoots with Uwe Boll. But this guy is relentless. he doesn't want to admit defeat. Even though it happens, he still feels like he's the victim. He admits he holds grudges, which is a very bad characteristic to have, either fictional or non-fiction. And even when he is hauled off, he is still acting like he won. I'm curious, is he going to make another appearance in a future case like Christoph Gavin did in Apollo Justice? If so, that would be good. If not, missed opportunity, Capcom. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. This was the spoiler section. I'm kind of antsy to get back into playing the game. And I thank you all for watching this. If there's anything I missed that you would like to discuss, feel free. I might actually open up another video discussion. And in the meantime, this is Dan. And so far, again, I have no objections to Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Spirit of Justice.